Hey everybody, welcome back. Kevin, the OG Original Croc Nerd, sitting down, continuing our playthrough of Victory Games Open Fire Solitaire Tank Combat World War II. This is our third video, but second playthrough. We're going to be jumping into combat rounds, or continuing combat actions here in a moment. And as always, I have to go back and correct some issues and mistakes we made last time. Last time when I was recording, I was using my roommate's iPhone, and if you watched the last video, the quality was super good because it recorded at 60 frames per second. My phone, I think, only records at 30 frames per second. I'm back to my phone. The reason being I managed to record the entire episode on her phone. It was like 58 minutes long, but it wouldn't let me download it to my computer. I would go in, plug the USB in, and go to where the files, and it wouldn't even show up. A couple of the smaller files that I had, like, minute and a half long, my test files were there, but for some reason, the big file wasn't there. Had to download it on her computer, had to upload it from her computer. It was just a general pain in the ass to do. So, whereas the quality of the video was fantastic, it was too much of a pain in the ass. We couldn't figure out why the phone would not let me download the video when it let me download the shorter clips that I had. And the sound wasn't quite as good. For some reason, the sound just wasn't the quality that I wanted. Just not as good as I like. So yeah, here we are back with my phone. Okay, so that's the camera issue. Rules issues. Okay, so last time, if you remember, we had the German Panzerkampfwagen 4 make a run towards my tank, shooting at me, and I thought it was a little kind of odd that during the next action round, none of the American tanks managed to see this German tank rushing at them. Well, reading through the rules, come to find out if a unit is shot at, it does become aware. So what are we going to do? It was shooting at one of the M10s last turn, so we're going to decide which one of the M10s. Even it'll be C, odd it'll be D. And we got a 9, which is odd, which is D. So D is actually going to be aware for this round, for this upcoming action round that I completely flubbed and failed every single perception check. So D is going to, so that means we are going to have to roll initiative. We already know what the German initiative was, 7. So let's roll to C, and this will decide advantage one way or another. We rolled an 8. All right, well, Americans rolled higher, so they get advantage. So the Germans are going to be disadvantaged. So we'll move them into the disadvantage column, respectively, whatever it is. And then since the U.S. rolled an 8 for initiative on 3. That's only going to be 1 turn advantage. I was hoping I'd actually be able to get a turn off before then. All right. So that's how the turn sequence is going to look. Germans are going to get going to go before D, but at least I've got one of my units that can actually respond. Also, let's try to get this thing focused again. We had the half. All right, so I just lost the last few minutes of what I was saying. Looks like my screen minimized out on me, and I didn't realize it was recording when it came back up, so I'm not really sure where exactly I left off. So I think we're going to try to recap what I said earlier, and hopefully I'm not going over the same territory that I've already gone over. When the German tank fired at the Shermans, when you get fired at, you actually do become aware with tank fire, anti-armor piercing. Whoever gets shot, you can only shoot at one target in a hex. Doesn't matter if there's multiple units in the hex. So the unit, it was firing at one of the M10s. I rolled randomly, determined it was unit D that became aware, rolled initiative. They pulled an initiative 8, which gave them initiative because they rolled higher than the German 7, and then I went ahead and readjusted for advantage and disadvantage. Germans still are going to have 2 actions, since the 8 for a 3 initiative actually only puts it on 1 turn. But I do have an American unit that is going to be aware this turn. Also, the last turn, the half tracks, procedurally, the rule said the half track should have fired after it got done moving at the tanks. I didn't do it because honestly, I didn't think, really, what the hell's good is machine gun fire going to do to American tanks? Looking back, I ran the numbers, and there is a slim chance the machine guns could have done something to the two M10s. But I didn't bother to check it out at the time, and I'm not going to retcon it. However, probably should be aware of that for future, because GP, general purpose fire, high explosive machine gun fire, when you fire it, it affects everything in the hex, and had I done it procedurally correct, when the half track fired at the tanks in the woods, it would have made them all aware, which would have negated my need to roll perception for this action round because everybody would be aware. But yeah, I'm justified in my mind is like, really, is a lone half track really going to be firing its machine gun at 4 American tanks? No, probably not. So not going to worry about it. But for future reference, there is a chance machine gun fire could have affected the M10 tanks. Okay, that's very, very annoying. I'm going to have to stop pushing any buttons when my camera does that. Or when my camera gives me notifications, because evidently it turns the phone off. So again, or not the phone off, the camera off. Again, let's try this for a third time. General purpose fire affects everything in the hex. Had the half track fired, it would have activated or would have made aware all the American units, negating my need to roll perception test for them. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about it because I don't think half tracks would be firing at tanks when there's a German tank out there shooting at them, because why are the half track? Why is the machine? How often is a machine gun really going to affect a tank? It's not. All right, Christ, third time. Third time's a charm. All right, so we're going to jump into action rounds. Long way of getting to where I wanted to be originally. All right, so we're going to start off. We're going to start with 2 turns. Start initiative 5, nobody initiative 5. Initiative 4, advantage, nobody advantaged. Goes to initiative 4, disadvantage, which is going to be the Germans, which is the German S. This is a half-track crew. And we are at condition 2 still. And we rolled action number 7. Right here, so that tells us condition 2 action. Let's see if I can clear this up a little bit and get it. There we go. Condition 2 action number 7, paragraph 914. So what does paragraph 914 hold for us? Okay, if this German has an LOS to a target, drive to achieve defilade. If this German has no LOS, drive slowly to attain an LOS to a target. In any case, if this German has an LOS to a target, button up and fire at easiest target, traversing turret if necessary to do so. All right, so they are already in defilade, so they don't need to drive to defilade. All right, and it says it needs to fire at the closest unit. Well, all the U.S. Vehicles are the closest unit, so it's going to open up its machine gun, like I should have done last time. So let's go ahead and do this. For GP fire, you take a look at on the stat card, and you look at GP offensive rating all weapons 4. Okay, so we know what the attack value is. It is a 4. So you go ahead, go down to our little combat track here, and you put it under the 4 column. Now, instead of using the armor piercing side, like we did with the armor piercing with the Panzerkampfwagen firing, you're going to be using the GP modifier, which is underneath. This is the column that we're going to be looking at, but we have to figure out what our final number is. So it's probably going to fire at one of the M10s because it's about the only thing that it can actually do anything to. So you take a look at the M10 card, and you look at GP defensive rating. So it is a 5. So that's going to shift our range 5 columns to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's making it a little bit hard. Now, we did go under 0. We went into -1. That's actually fine. You can go all the way up to -7 when it comes to GP fire. But, okay, there's that. Now you have to figure out what the GP modifiers are. So we're already at a -1 on the column that we're looking at. So let's see if I can get my camera down far enough to see the GP fire modification. All right, clear hex terrain, or target hex terrain, is woods. It's a vehicle. It's going to be +1. Now, is that to the right, to the left? Use all applicable modifiers, adding or subtracting from the defending unit's GP defense fire. So this is going to add to the defense fire. So it's in woods, so it's going to give +1 to their defensive value, which was a 5, so that's going to make it a 6, which is going to be one more column shift to the left. Let's see. Rough, improved, town, building, target moving, bunker value. Okay, so that really is the only modifier that we're going to have. Take a look over here where our final GP firepower modifier ends up at, and it ends up at the -2 column. So we've got a chance for either a panic or a suppression. See, panic is a 1 through 5, suppression is a 6 through 10. So let's go ahead and roll it to see what it does to the M10. It is a 10, so it is going to be a suppressed. So you grab a suppressed marker, and I know I've got them. There we go. Here we go. Let's take a look at the suppressed marker. So that is a suppressed marker. That is what we're going to put on the M10. We didn't choose which M10. Well, I guess we're going to have to dice for it. Even, it'll be C. Odd, it'll be D. And this will make an effect. All right, so it's even, so it's going to be C. And what you do is you take the suppressed marker and you put it on out there. So let's see if I can do this without reaching and knocking over half the table because it is so far away. So we take a look, find vehicle C, and you know what? I'll slide him to the top just to remind us that C is suppressed. All right, now, technically that makes him aware. However, that doesn't mean I put him into the turn initiative, turn track order yet. I don't believe so. Let's check that just to make sure. Random events, sightings, U.S. awareness. Okay, an unaware unit that is attacked is automatically aware after the combat is resolved. All right, so places AR marker on the complete space unless he is killed or disabled. Okay. So we shot at him. However, he doesn't get to go on the initiative track. He just goes into the completed space. So where's completed? He's 2. So all right. So he's going to go into the completed. He's no longer unaware. He is completed. Means he's going to know next turn. He was going to know next turn anyways. But you know, it is what it is. Procedurally, we're trying to do this correct. All right, so now, as I said before, general purpose fire affects everything in the hex. After you have shot at the main unit, all other targets in the hex are affected by the same GP fire, but let's go ahead and read this. Once GP fire has been resolved against the primary target, move the marker 4 spaces to the left and roll 1d10 again. Any result from this dice roll is applied to all targets other than the primary target in the hex. All right, so we'll go ahead and take our fire marker and we'll move it 4 more spaces to the left. All right. So now we're on the -6 column. Now, why did we shoot at the M10? So the M10's defensive rating is 5. The defensive rating of the M3 Sherman is a 7. It's an easier target to hit. You think, well, it's probably not going to fire at a Sherman. It's probably going to fire at the open-topped M10. That's why we fired at the M10. So now we're going to have to roll for every unit in the hex. We got a 1 through, no effect is 1 through 9, and a panic is 10. Did I make sure I read that? Yeah, because I rolled a 10 for the effect anyway, so it was going to be panicked. All right. So let's go ahead and zoom in just so we can see the chart a little bit better. So 1 through 9 is going to be no effect. 10 is going to be suppressed. So there's only 1 in 10 chance of them actually doing anything to that unit in the hex, or the other units in the hex. So let's go ahead and roll it. We're going to start with A. Sherman A. That's a 5. It's going to be no effect. Sherman B. Whoops. Into the cup. Run away. Be free. 2. Which is going to be no effect. And firing at Unit D. Or Unit C, because, well, C's already got shot at. So, but they got to roll for D anyways, because he is also in the hex still. So a 9, which is no effect. So all that machine gun fire actually did something to C. It suppressed him. We'll get into suppression, what it is in a little bit. But did nothing else. Now, since A and B were not aware, they got shot at by general purpose, which affects everything in the hex. So they are now moved into the completion track. Again, they're not going to be able to do anything this turn, but they would next turn. However, third action round, all American units become aware. Anyways, they would have known what was going on. Anyways. All right. So, suppression. What does being suppressed mean? Not that it means anything, because it's not like C can do anything this turn, but since we need to find out what it does anyway. Suppression. AP damage results. We don't want AP damage. GP. Suppression. Units must spend 2 movements to move 1 hex. So basically, you double your movement, and any AP fire they perform is subject to the suppression modifiers. Suppressed units cannot initiate close assault, cannot prepare or move a towed weapon, hitch or unhitch a towed weapon, and cannot load or unload from a vehicle. For prepared AT guns, suppression result reduces the crew rating by 1. Squads cannot fire while suppressed. Suppressed units become unsuppressed at the end of the round. All right. So for our purposes, for the vehicle purposes, his movement costs are basically doubled, and he would be under, if he was firing AP, he would be under the condition of condition 7, fire is suppressed, which would add an additional 8 column shifts to the right on his to hit track. But since he was unaware, it was not going to be doing anything for the rest of the turn anyways, but it's good to know for future purposes. And I got to step away real quick because it's getting real hot in here and I've got the heater on, so I will be right back. I always get so hot when I'm sitting here recording. Not sure why. Probably because I'm under this big-ass halogen lamp. All right, so that is Unit S. Now they've done 2 turns. Now they'll slide down to the 1-turn initiative track. Now we continue going along for the 2 turns. The next unit is going to be M, which is the German Panzerkampfwagen. Now, since we already indicated before, they're within 2 hexes of each other, and I think I went over this. This may have been one of the things I was talking about when the camera was off. It falls under the special condition C, which is close assault. So whenever you get a new special condition that pops up for any of the German units, you re-roll their action track number. So they had a 7. Now this isn't going to affect their initiative for the rest of the turn. This is just going to affect the action track number. So you re-roll the action track number, and we got a 2. So we shift the action track number up to 2, and that'll be the number that we look at when looking at their cards to determine which paragraph for the rest of the turn. Unless another special condition comes into effect, then you re-roll the dice again. So we're at condition 2. Let's see if I can get this focused. Come on. There we go. We're at condition 2, and a dice roll of 1 or 2 is going to be 922. So we're going to be looking at paragraph 922. Oops, no, we're not. It's not condition 2, it's condition S. So we're looking at 926. So that's the paragraph number. So we're looking at 926 paragraph number. 926, 926, 926. The German, if this German is a command car, open up and rotate towards German retreat route and drive fast to that route. Put special condition S into effect for this German. They're not a command car, so we don't have to worry about it. Let's go ahead and refocus the camera. Otherwise, open up and rotate towards designated German retreat route and drive fast to that route. If this is a German as a tank, traverse turret to fire nearest U.S. unit. Put special condition S. Well, that's odd. So, okay, well, let's see. Well, did I read that right? Was that 920? That is 926. Huh. So they decided they don't want to play with the Americans. Open up and rotate towards designated German retreat route and move fast towards that route. If this German is a tank, traverse turret to fire at your nearest U.S. unit. All right, well, it's going to be moving fast. We already know fast movement rate for the Panzer IV is a 3 to 4, so it's going to be moving 4 hexes. I just have to figure out what the retreat hex is. And this is designated, I believe, by scenario. So let's look at scenario. Okay, each time a German retreat route is mentioned in the paragraphs, roll 1d10 and consult the chart below. The result indicates which hex will be considered the German retreat route for that German. Note the result on the German unit's characteristics card. Once a retreat hex is determined for the German, it remains the same for the mission. All right, so we roll a d10, and we've got a chart here. And like I said, this is by scenario, and that is a 3. 3 is going to be 0117. So retreat hex is over here. Let's find a marker. Let's just use that 0117, which is going to be that road hex right there. So that is going to be retreat route. That is where that German tank is now going to start moving towards. So we have 4 movement points to play with, and we're going to have to move, so we're going to have to rotate to start driving away. And a tank, what is its the Panzer IV, what is its rotation value? Because remember, you have to have the charts all over the friggin' place. Where is it? Normal per turn rotation cost, so 0.5, so it's a half a movement point to rotate the tank. So we got 4 movement points to play with, but we also need to rotate the turret. I can turn the turret 1 hex side per turn, so we may not be able to shoot. So let's go ahead, see if we can figure it out. So we're trying to get over here. So unlike ambush, this doesn't have the exact movement paths that the vehicle has got to take. It's you've got to basically figure it out yourself. All right, so it's a half movement, and he was pointed that way. So 2 hex turns, which will be 1 movement point. 2, 3, 4. We'll move him there. And then, so his turret was facing this way. We can turn the turret 1 hex side. So we're going to turn the turret that way. Kind of odd that for a close combat result, or close assault result, we got a, let's run away and retreat and show our ass to the Americans. Good for me, because it kind of saves me, possibly my tanks getting shot all to hell. But and it would shoot, but the turret is not facing the right direction, so it's not going to be able to shoot. So that is going to be that unit's turn, and then since it was on a 2-turn track, it slips down to the 1 turn. Now we go through the rest. There's nothing left on 2-turn initiatives, down to 1-turn initiative. Initiative 5, nothing. Initiative 4. All right, initiative 4, German has a disadvantage. S will go again, which of course is the half track. And now, you got to remember, we have a new condition number, since we rolled what the Panzer IV changed its, had a special condition go into play, so we rolled a new number, ended up with a 2, so the 2 is what we're going to be looking at this time. It's condition 2, dice roll a 2, and we're looking at a 926, which I believe we've seen before. Maybe this one is runaway. I have a hard time remembering the paragraph numbers. Let's see, 926. If the German, yeah, this is the exact same thing that we had for the Panzer IV. Command car, open up and rotate. Otherwise, open up and rotate towards designated German retreat and drive fast that route. All right, so they are now retreating as well, and condition S. So, but we have to roll their exit number. So we roll another D10. And we got a 7, which is 0111. So let's use the out of supply or out of fuel marker for them. 0111, which is going to be right there, that road right there. So that is where the half track is going to be going at. I don't think I can get it much clearer than that, a little bit. So the roundel is where the German tank is going to be going. The out of supply marker is where the half track is going to be going. So now the half track, how many movement points do they have? The half track has, oh no, this is on the card. Keep forgetting what information's on what card. All right, so they have a fast movement. Again, I don't know why they didn't put the slow in the first column and fast in the second column. It just seems more intuitive. I don't know. I'm not I am a designer, but I didn't design this. If I'd have designed it, I'd put slow there and fast there. Yeah, whatever. I suppose as the vehicle takes casualties, your movement speed goes down and you have to start breaking down. Like when you take 2 casualties, or when you've taken 2 casualties, you only get 1 movement point for slow and 2 or 3 for fast. When you've taken 3 casualties, to move 1 or 2 hexes is considered fast movement. I suppose that's why they put the fast. But again, like I said, I wouldn't have done that. But anyway, so they have 5 movement points to play with. So, and they still haven't offloaded the infantry. So the infantry is still with them. So they are no longer in the defilade. So we'll go ahead and remove that. So what's the quickest way, easiest way? By that bridge up there? Up this way or this way? I think we're going to go this way because it's going to get away from the Americans. So it's going to be half one movement point to turn there. Let's see, is there any benefit to driving on a dirt road? Half track. No, does not look like there's any benefit. Oh, yeah, actually there is. It's 0.75 per hex. Who does it by 0.75? No, anyways, so 1, 2, 3, 3.75, 4.5, and that's gonna be as far as they're gonna make it. So that's where they're at, and they're also in special condition S. Let's make sure I've got the half track pointed the right way. All right. Well, that was a rather interesting turn of events for the Germans to conduct. So basically S, that's going to be done. They're complete. So move them down to the complete. Now D. Hey, that's us. Yay, we get to do something. And what I should have pointed out earlier, at the beginning of the turn, all American tanks have to indicate if they're loading AP or GP. I guess that, kind of simulates and mimics the loading of whatever ammunition loadouts they want to use, AP or high explosive. It's a 76 millimeter. They probably weren't going to be bothering to shoot at the half track. With 76 millimeter, they're going to be going after the Panzer IV, so they would have loaded AP, so we're going to do AP shots. All right, so let's go ahead. What range are we looking at now firing at the Panzer IV? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes. So with 5 hexes, let's go ahead and put it 5 hexes and cross-reference with the M10, which is kind of the brown line. And we're looking, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. So it's kind of the brownish line. So we're looking at a base 70% chance to hit with an armor penetration value of 12. We need to remember that, and that's why it says you put 2 of these down. One to remember what the base hit, or the base chance was because of the armor penetration value. The other is to figure out the actual column shifts. All right, so fire and armor piercing, go through the AP fire modifiers. Condition 1, fire is firing at the target side. Not happening, we're firing at his butt. Target is a PZ4, that is the condition, so that's 6 columns. Let's make sure I do it right this time. I think last time when I shot at the M10, it's a 10 column shift, but I think I only did 8 column shifts on the column. Not that it made that big a difference in the end, but procedurally, just to make sure we're doing this right. Target is a Panzer IV, so it's going to go 6 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns. All right, target is in Defilade. Nope, it's actually in clear, so condition 3 doesn't come into effect. Condition 4, target is in Defilade or improved position. No, you will notice there is 2 different types of Defilades. Why? I don't know. Condition 5, target is driving fast, driving slow. It is driving fast, so it's going to be 8 more column shifts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Condition 6, fire is driving fast or slow. No. Fire, condition 7, fire is suppressed. Fire is suppressed. We do have that condition. So it's going to be 8 more column shifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. And condition 8, target already has a hit marker. Does not. Those are all the column shifts we're looking at. Now, let's take a look at the M10. Because I think we're going to get a couple rates of fire. Oh, we actually are. Remember, when you're looking at your initial to hit, if it's in one of the shaded hexes, which it is, 5 hexes is shaded for the M10, so that puts it at short range. You take a look at the M10 card, and short range rate of fire is 1. So it doesn't really matter. Short range rate of fire and normal rate of fire is the same. It's going to be 1 hex, or 1, so it's going to have a rate of fire of 1. Whereas if you remember, the Panzer IV at short range got 2 shots off. So is our final column shift number 27. Okay, now I will mention, I just want to mention this right now. I do like how this chart works. For any other faults that I may have with the game so far, and like I said, I'll get to that when we're doing the post game. I do really enjoy how this combat track chart works. I don't know why, but it appeals to me. I like it. It's nice. It's simple. It's all column shifts. I mean, there's no other modifiers you have to worry about. It's just all column shifts. That gives you what your final to hit percentile is. I like that. It's nice, simple, quick, easy, yada, yada, yada. All right, so it is the M10, and so we have to find out what our final to hit is. And the M10 is, well, it's actually orange. So we cross rate. So our final to hit number, let's go ahead and zoom in so we can see that, is a 15. Now, if I'd have been firing at 27 hexes, its penetration value would be 3. I'm not. I'm firing at 5 hexes. Its penetration value is still 12. But with all the column shifts, our base to hit chance is 15. And we only have 1 shot that we're taking at it. So we only need to roll once. Black is 10's column, white is 1's column. And it's a 70, whatever, doesn't matter. So it is a miss. Boom! And the 76 millimeter misses. That's death threatening. However, that does end the vehicle's turn. Or does it? No, the Americans can get multiple actions per turn, depending on how many crew members they have active. Right. Vehicle's crew rating translates into crew points, indicating how many actions that vehicle can perform that turn. All right, so there's a bunch of different things you can do. Fire main gun, however, we'll show this right here. So you can perform a sighting, so you can try to spot an unactivated event marker. Fire main gun, that's the one we're gonna be worried about. But you can also do, move slow, move fast, hitch around hitch, open or button up, close assault, charge assault, prepare crew weapon. But we fired once, so that cost us 2 crew points. And really, like I said, with the Americans, their crew rating comes down to how many active crew members they have. So this is what? This is D. So we look at D. He's still got 4 crew members left. So that translates into his crew rating of 4 points. So he spent 2 points already to shoot. So let's go ahead and let's shoot again. And it would be at his normal full rate of fire. So had he had a rate of fire 2, I would have been able to shoot 2 times with those 2 action points. Then with 2 more action points, I could fire another 2 times. So we're going to fire a second time. Again, modifiers are all going to be the same. I didn't hit him. Nothing has changed. We're still looking at a base of 15% chance to hit. 53, nothing. All right, so we've taken our 2 shots, and what we have to do now, one thing we have to keep track of, is our ammunition expenditure. So an M10 starts off with 24 rounds. We got that circled right here. So we fired 2 rounds, so 24, 23, we're down to 22 shells left. And if we're looking at 15s and 10s and 5s to hit, it's probably going to go through a lot of ammunition before we hit something. So that is going to be D's action, and since he only had 1 turn this turn because of the way his initiative roll goes down to the complete, now we're going to go ahead and continue on down the initiative track. M, which is the German Panzer IV, they are now in condition S. Condition has changed since last turn, so we roll again. Actually, I should have rolled for the half track. Oh well, I'm not going to go back and retcon it. Condition has changed. They are now condition S, they're condition S, which is skedaddle the hell out of Dodge. So their action number is now 5. So focus. Condition, dice roll of 5. Condition S, 926. We already know what 926 is. Let's move towards their retreat hex, rotate their turret, and shoot. So we already know he's got 4 movement points. So I think, again, he's going to want to come this way to try to get this hill in between him and the Americans. So let's go ahead. Half movement to move there. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and then rotate there for 4. He's going to turn his turret that way. 1 more hex. And that does put him now within line of sight. The tank does have line of sight, so it actually can fire. The fire arc is right there. So yeah, he's going to be able to shoot. And I'm running out of hard drive space, so we're going to have to download this to the computer, and we will be right back. All right, and we are back with the Panzer IV firing at the American stack. Now, let's see what range we're looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hexes. So we're at 8 hexes. We're going to start off on the 8 column. Now put our 2 numbers down, our 2 markers down there to make sure we know what our final adjustment is and what the original was for armor penetration values. Now we take a look. Panzer IV is the red column. So it comes out to here. This is not shaded, so he's not going to get his full rate of fire of 2 off. So this is normal range, so he's only going to be able to get 1 shot off. But it's going to be a base to hit chance of 65 with an armor penetration of 11. And let's go ahead and take a look at the fire modifiers. Who's he going to be firing? It's probably going to be firing at the same M10 he shot at last time. No, that's a good question. Since we didn't hit the M10 last time, but we are going to fire at the M10, mainly because the M10s have a 76 millimeter on them and can do more damage than the 75 millimeter. At least I think the M3 only had a 75. Fairly certain it was only a 75. I don't think they put the 76 on the Sherman until the Easy 8. I could be wrong. It doesn't even friggin' say. You think it would give that? Yeah, and you know what? There's not even anything in the rule book that goes over units. You know, normally in a rule book, you at least have something that tells you a little bit about the units in the game. But this does not. Oh, and for official, the condition S is not skedaddle, it's self-preservation. I prefer skedaddle. But so that's what condition S specifically is supposed to mean. All right, conditions. Fire is firing at the target side. It's not firing at the target side. Target is an M10, which is 10 column shifts. Let's make sure we do the 10 column shifts this time, which will bring it to 18. Target is in Defilad, no town, no woods. Yes, it is still in woods hex, so it's going to be another 12, so it's going to take it all the way up to 30. Target is driving fast, no fire is driving fast, slow. Yes, it is firing fast. Let's get the camera down so you can see all the conditions. Is firing fast, so that's another 8, which is going to bring it up to the 38 column. Fire is suppressed, no. Target currently has a hit marker, no. So we are looking at a final column of 38, and cross-reference it with the Panzer IV, which is the red column, which is going to be, let's go ahead and zoom in, is going to be OT5 with a penetration value of 1. Had it been firing at 38 hexes, but it's not. It is just firing at it's 8 hexes, so it uses that penetration value. However, it is only an OT5 to hit. And since this was not short range for this vehicle, it only has its normal rate of fire. And just to make sure that we know what we're talking about, take a look at the unit card. Normal rate of fire, right there, 1. Short range have been 2 rounds, but it's only normal. So it's 1 round. We're looking at an OT5. 18, came close. Came awful damn close. So that's their action. They are complete. Now we basically go to the last unit, which is Y, which is German 2, which is the squad. And the squad is actually, come on, focus. The squad is actually in the vehicle, so it can't really do anything. But I'm going to, because the rules say unloading is dependent on the vehicle, loading is dependent on the squad. So I don't think anything is going to happen, but we're going to check the paragraph just because. We're at action 5. Now, good question. Are they considered S because the half track is S, or are they still? Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and just put it S for self-preservation as well. 805. So let's take a look at paragraph. Where's my paragraph book at? I lost my paragraph book. Oh, there it is. Underneath my clipboard. All right, so 805. If in a hex with a vehicle that could transport the squad, mount. Well, they're already in. If within sight of a vehicle that could transport the squad, move towards that vehicle. Already in a vehicle. If not within sight of a vehicle that could transport the squad, put special reaction B into effect. Well, it's already in a vehicle. So, yeah, I think when infantry is in the half track, it will only unload if the vehicle condition tells it to. So they're not unloaded, so honestly, I don't even think I need to check paragraphs because we're also putting them in self-preservation mode. That's what the half track is doing. So, but we'll just, we'll keep putting it out there just for procedural sake anyways. All right, so that's basically actions, and there are a couple more minor things that you may have picked up on that we need to do at the end of the turn. So let's look procedurally what we're supposed to do. All right, so we've gone through all the 2 turns initiative, all the 1 turns initiative. Panic, unit panics this round regardless of whether or not is out of command. Okay, so yeah, we don't have anybody that was panicked. Red number, US only, yada, yada, yada. Perform all unit actions. Yep, we did that. Suppression marker removal. All units with suppression markers on them have the markers removed, and the units become unsuppressed. And then we go around, begin new round. So, the M10 that was suppressed is no longer suppressed. So we take the suppression marker off. And we don't have to worry about that condition anymore. And that is the end for the second action round. I think we're going to go ahead and cut it here because I'm already pushing like 40, 45 minutes. I usually don't like my videos to go too much longer than that. But yeah, when we come back, we'll be rolling initiative. Hopefully it'll go a little bit smoother because I know the rules a lot better now. That's the thing. First couple turns, especially with the new game, It's like, what do I do? What do I do? You know, but nah, I'm getting it now. I've got it. So basically, like I said, when we come back, we'll be rolling for initiative and we'll be continuing. Now, what may happen if I don't catch that German Panzer before he gets away, I may just sit there and open fire on him, try to catch him before he gets away. But if I have to start moving, if I get too close, I'll activate Event 11. So I'll have to check for Event 11 to see if that may activate more German units. Don't know. But as it stands, the half track and the tank are moving. Now, I believe if I get out of line of sight, I remove the German units completely. I'm going to have to check the rules on that, and we'll take a look at that later. I'm not going to worry about it right now because we're at the end of the video. So yeah, there we go. Americans got real lucky. The German tank decided it wanted to go balls out and rush at me, but then decided, there's 4 tanks there. Maybe we shouldn't be engaging them. Let's turn around and run away. One of the M10s did manage to get a shot off, but didn't hit. And that's where we're at. We're going to be going into action round 3 when we come back. Questions, comments, complaints, criticisms in the comment section below. I'll talk to everybody later. See ya!